Hello, welcome to another episode of Caregiving 101 with Alexis and Odell, the show that's concerned for those who care for others. Again, my name is Odell Cleveland, and I'm joined by a lovely co-host,
Alexis Williams with Caregiver Connect.
There you go.
Thank you, Pastor Odell. Glad to be here today with you.
Same here. You know, it's interesting. A lot of times, Alexis, we all know that when you're caring for someone, usually, not always, but usually people come up to you and say, hey, how's your mama doing? How's your daddy doing? How's this person doing? How's that person doing? But very rarely does someone come and ask the caregiver, Odell, how you're doing? Alexis, how you're doing? So I'm going to ask you, Alexis, as a caregiver for your mother, long distance caregiver for your mother, how are you doing?
Thanks for asking, Pastor Odell. Sometimes, if I'm honest, I would say things like, I'm really overwhelmed. Or I would say, like, I've had enough, up to here with caregiving. Or I would
Not up to here with your mama. Come on now, not up to here with your mama.
I said caregiving, up to here.
Got it.
I would say, it sure is complicated. Or it's just crazy. It's chaotic. It's, I'm going to use a fancy word. Okay. Convoluted.
Convoluted. Okay, they didn't teach me that in the third grade, but go ahead.
But anyway, I think sometimes if we're honest, which we've talked about being honest and trying to take good care of the caregiver, that we would think about if we answer that question, so how are you as the caregiver? I would often probably portray it maybe in a negative way. Sometimes it's honest, but maybe it comes across in a not so positive light.
That's interesting because a lot of times when people ask me, how's your mama doing? I give them some little quick answer because I really don't want to go into it. And to go into it, my thought is, what difference will it make? You know, because I think people just asking me that to be nice. Everybody know Odell's mother is ill. Everybody know that Odell's back and forth, take care of his mother. So they just really, it's almost like, how you doing today, Odell? They say, well, how's your mama doing? And I'm like, man, I don't even want to deal with that. So in my mind, it's like, I have that answer. Oh, everything's good. And I just keep on walking.
So I was thinking about this. In the past, we've talked about what it's like to be a caregiver. We've talked about sometimes we don't know how we feel as a caregiver. So that if somebody said, Pastor Odell, how's your mama? How are you? What if we kind of changed it up as opposed to maybe being honest about how you really feel right then? What if we tried to make this caregiving thing an opportunity for something positive? What if we kind of said, on this journey of caregiving that might not be positive all the time, that might be hard, might be overwhelming, might be chaotic. What if we said, we're going to try to change things up and think of caregiving as an opportunity? What do you think about that?
So you're saying we need to lie to people?
No, what I'm saying is maybe, like we talk about looking at it through a certain lens. So instead of looking at it through a lens of, oh, this is hard, this is troublesome, we looked at it as, how could caregiving be? How can I kind of
I
put
feel
a different spin on this? So like maybe if we thought about it, that in our caregiving opportunity, you always talk about we need to assemble our team, assemble our community.
Yes.
So what if we looked at it as this is an opportunity to build the team?
Okay, so you're saying, Odell, what if, don't lie to the people who ask you about it, lie to yourself and say, hey, you know what? Caregiving is really not hard. Caregiving is an opportunity. Okay, I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
No, time out. Because we're on a team, we're going to play sports.
Okay, we're playing. What are we playing? Basketball or soccer?
It's not a lie.
Okay.
We're trying to change the scenery. We're trying to change the view. The view on this experience, the view about being on this team is that this is an opportunity.
Okay, so to our listening audience and viewing audience, is not a lie. We're not lying to you. We're not lying to ourselves. We're doing what again?
I can't remember what I just said.
Well, you got to tell them. You got to tell them. There you go.
What we need to do is think about it from, we're going to put on our caregiver hat. We're going to be a part of this team. It's an athletic event. It's going to be an opportunity to look at caregiving in a different way.
So no whining from Odell.
You can whine,
Okay.
but you're going to have a supportive team to listen to your whining.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm there.
This group of people, this team of yours, as an opportunity to meet people. Caregiving is an opportunity to meet people versus a burden. We're going to think of it as,
got it.
How's your mom doing? She's great. I've assembled this group, this team to help me on this journey.
You're absolutely right, because one of the things about the looking at it as opportunity is like, okay, how's your mother doing, Odell? I thank God that my mother is still alive. I thank God that I have another opportunity to be with my mother. I thank God that I'm healthy enough to do all the things necessary to help my siblings build a team, gather everybody around. But building a team is one thing, but who's going to lead the team?
Okay, so on that note,
okay,
very good lead, Pastor Odell. Let's think about some people who could be a leader on the team. Could it be a family member that maybe you haven't asked to be involved before in your caregiving experience? Could it be that you hire a geriatric care manager to, if there are caregiver geriatric care managers in your area, could you hire someone to coordinate this team of people to be the caregiver? Is it that you could hire a business to come in to help your mom in her home? Could it be that you hire a delivery service, maybe groceries to get to the house where you don't take an hour and a half to go to the grocery store to get the groceries to come home? So, maybe it's an opportunity to expand who's on your team to care for mom in that capacity.
Well, a lot of times the caregiver and the person who's being cared for, my mama say she's the lead person. She's the lead person in the middle of getting her in and out of, transferring her in and out of her wheelchair, or when her mind is not as sharp as it used to be. But in Glenda Cleveland's world, she's still in charge. I'm the mama, you're the child, pumpkin. And I get that. But at the same time, you're absolutely right. As we build our team and as we invite you all to build your team, then we kind of get it straight. But what does those opportunities give us? Because when I sit and think about opportunities, I spend a lot of time with my mother from time to time. She's laying in bed or she's sitting up and we talk. Mm-hmm. And those opportunities give us the time to reconnect and talk about the family and what it used to be as children and her way of growing up, childhood and everything else. But sometimes my mother, I don't know about anyone else, my mother forgets things, or my mother, she doesn't see things or make things up, but she will ask me, how's Renee doing? And I'm like, or she says, where is Renee? And Renee is my baby sister who died close to 20 years ago in a car accident. And I'm like, Mommy, Nay's in heaven. And her name was Sonia Renee Cleveland. Then she would say, well, how's Sonia doing? So opportunities to talk, but when you go and open that door, you have to be prepared to deal with whatever you deal with. So opportunity sounds good, and it is good. However, we have to be prepared for what the opportunity brings. And how do we handle when she says, where's Sonia? She's in heaven. Where's Renee? And I just talk through it. And people are like, well, why would you not convince your mother that your sister, Sonia Renee Cleveland Richardson, died in a car accident? That's not what I choose to do. Mm-hmm. That's not what I choose to do.
So I think it's something to think about is when we are, first of all, I think you put on your caregiver hat. We talk about that a lot.
How about my pastor hat? How about my preacher? No preacher?
No preacher in this right this minute.
Not pumpkin hat?
Not right.
Not the good-looking black man hat?
Not right this minute. You got your caregiver hat on.
Okay.
And with your caregiver hat, you're going to think about, is it important to be completely honest with mom in this situation, or is it an opportunity to leave mom in a positive light?
So
you're an opportunity to be creative. It's an opportunity
Okay, I feel you creative.
It's not important to be right, mom. Don't you remember?
Yes.
This event happened.
Yes.
That's not important in this situation. The important is she had a question. Mm-hmm. You answered the question, and then you sort of have to move on. I think what you also saw in that portrayal or whatever you just presented to me is an opportunity to see where mom is. Mom is back in the past. Mom wants to talk about the past. Maybe mom is confused about, you're here. Okay, so you're my son. Where's my daughter?
Yeah.
So it gives you an opportunity to see where she is in this and where her brain is thinking, that it's easy to forget, because then you fall back into, you're the pumpkin, you're the son in that, and then she dialogues with you as the mother and the son. And that can be confusing. I do think that it's important that if you can, when you're dialoguing with somebody who has, or communicating with, or talking with somebody who might have some kind of cognitive impairment, it's important maybe to not think about how specific you can be all the time. There is some value to maybe being a little more vague, be a little more creative.
Creative, vague, lying to the people, lying to ourselves.
But it's not. It's therapeutic fibbing. Did you know that word?
Therapeutic fibbing. Okay,
That's
okay,
a real thing.
okay. We're finding common ground here. So when I sit there and my mother says, "Thank you," and I'm like, "Mommy, thank you for what?" "Thank you for keep coming home to see about me." So it's almost like from time to time, and I'm talking about my mom. And remember now, I'm from the projects, or how some people would say public housing. I like to say the projects. So I could talk about my mama, but you know who can't talk about my mom? Nobody else, because those fighting words. So my mama would say this: "Thank you for caring enough to come and see about me." And I'm like, "Mommy, of course, I love you. I'm going to come and see about you." But she always makes it a point. And then her mind may go, the same conversation, her mind may go to, "Where's Renee? I told her to be in by a certain time of night. She's not in." And it's like, okay. And at first, it used to just throw me off. I'm like, wait a minute, man. Mommy, you don't know that Nay's dead and da-da-da and all this. And then she go back to, "Give me some water." And then I'm sitting there like, okay, I had to deal with that almost like a baseball player who's the catcher. And the pitcher is throwing all kind of balls, strikes, curves, and some of the balls just kind of hit the ground. And I'm just the backstop. And it's not, to your point, it's not important, Odell, to be right. It's important to be engaging with your mama, conversational style. And at the end of the day, mommy's in a nice place, because why upset her over something that really doesn't matter?
That's right. So when you talk like that, it makes me think of that maybe we need to learn to live different when we are caring for someone who has cognitive impairment, or you're caring for someone and you're the caregiver in the caregiver role. So maybe in that situation, you've looked at that scenario and you've decided, I'm not going to be right all the time. I'm going to engage with her. I'm going to help her brain still work. I'm going to make her laugh. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to have a different experience. I'm going to see this as an opportunity to have a different experience in what we're doing. So what can you do when you're engaging with her to maybe have something positive happen, something joyful happen, instead of, "Mama, don't you know she passed away 8 years ago?" Like what? There's really no point in having that conversation, because in that situation, that may make her feel not so joyful, not so positive, and then you would have to deal, or you would then have to experience her being sad or unhappy. So in my mind, sometimes, we talked about this before, it's about turning the page. It's about in one ear and out the other. It's about what can we do in the moment, because a lot about caregiving is in the moment.
Yes,
it's not about what's going to happen in 30 minutes. How can we get through that? One of the other things we've talked about, Pastor Odell, is when we're talking about opportunities and we're talking about these experiences with our loved ones, have you ever thought about the fact that maybe in this caregiving role, like when you're in the room and you're helping change the bed, what you can do to make that be a positive experience, to kind of go from dread to like, oh my gosh, I have to hold my nose when I go in, to make that a positive experience? Have you thought about that? What have you done to kind of change it up?
A couple things. I want to go back. I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
But I want to go back and touch on something. One of the hardest parts about, you say, cognitive impairment, right? It was hard for me to accept that mommy, because we use the term like may have a touch of dementia. It's almost like we don't want to call it what it is, because it's like, well, I'm not a professional, so I don't know what it is, so I'm not going to name it. However, when we took her to the doctor, he said, yes, she does have, and everybody's so nice around dementia and all that memory loss and everything. So just to tell my brothers and my sister, my brother and my sister that, hey, mommy has dementia or mommy has this. And it's like, it just takes something out of me to name it. And mommy won't name it. And so when we talk, sometimes she'll get frustrated and says, I just can't remember like I used to. And it's like, mommy, it's okay. And when I say that in a certain voice, not loud like I am with you and we talk and you're like, Odell, you talk too much and all this kind of stuff. Because if you keep telling me I talk too much, I'm going to go tell my mom on you.
Okay.
I'm going to tell my mom on you. I'm going to say, Mama, you know what that Alexis said? She said I'm loud and I'm talk too much. You know what my mom's going to say? Probably say she's right. But I just think the calming nature of accepting it, because the roles have changed. So when I go in and I know this bedpan is like dun 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 dun, I can smell it coming out of the room, and I know my mother is not excited about her pumpkin coming in, changing her bedpan. So I had to adjust to that because I thought it was all about me.
No.
I thought it was about me.
She didn't want that to happen either.
Exactly.
She would tell you to wear a nose clip.
Well,
and put a little essential oil right there, Pastor Odell.
You keep saying essential oil. Okay, I'm going to have to try this essential oil. But then on the flip side of it, because my mother takes a lot of medication and we're trying to work through that, she said, I'm constipated. And then it's like, I have this, what's that little thing?
Oh, gosh.
Yes. Oh, gosh. But what's it called? It's
suppository.
Suppository. She says, I need you to put this suppository because I'm constipated. And I'm like, okay, how do I do this? Not that I don't know how to do it. I don't want to do it, but I had to do it. And she's like, you don't know what you're doing? So she's fussing at me while she's bent over and I'm doing a suppository.
There's an opportunity there, Pastor Odell, for you to look at this different.
Help me.
There's an opportunity to look at this different.
Okay, let me tell you how I looked at it.
Okay, let's
go
think
ahead,
about
go
this.
Go ahead.
How you could be creative in thinking about her diet that interacts with her medicine so that maybe she wouldn't be constipated.
Okay.
There's an opportunity to think about maybe you could go to the store and buy a different product that would be easier to use during this product, during this process. I mean, like in my mind, it's all about what's in your head.
Okay.
So when you go in to deal with this opportunity, how the vibe you get off, or the vibe that you provide.
Yes.
What if it's, we're going to knock this out, Mom, literally. We're going to get rid of this.
It caught me off guard. I came in, how you doing, Mommy? And she's like, I'm constipated. Grab that, do this, and put it in. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, okay. And before I could even kind of get my balance.
No.
Okay.
No. This is an opportunity for you to grow as a man.
Okay.
It's an opportunity for you to grow as a son.
So now my manhood is being challenged because I'm not comfortable putting a, what's it called?
How did this get to this place?
No, because a lot of other men are listening to us and they're there too. What's it called? What's the thing called?
A suppository?
Suppository for my mother. So pray for me that I get man enough to go where no son should have went before.
Here's the deal.
Yes.
It's an opportunity to think about that you would like this experience to be as positive for her as it could be for you if you needed a suppository. So if one of your children,
one of my children,
had to do the same thing, it's an opportunity to think of it different.
Thank you.
She didn't want this. She didn't wake up today and go, oh, Odell's going to give me a suppository today. I can't wait.
Pumpkin.
She didn't think that.
Yes.
She probably thought, I'm miserable today. I need some help with this today.
Yes.
Can you help me with this?
Okay.
So she trusted you to do it.
The before.
It's an opportunity. There's a trust there.
Right. And then an hour later.
Think of how you're honoring her in this.
Yeah, and an hour later, if everything works well, we have results.
Opportunity for results. Look at there.
Opportunity for results.
Who knew?
My nose knew.
You need a nose clip.
Answer what else?
I keep some essential.
Okay.
We all have to go to the bathroom. We all eliminate All of us.
Yes.
So it just kind of makes it even. You always talk about the fact this is what you love about this occasion, that we come together and we talk about real things.
We do.
There's
and
nothing,
eliminating
elimination is
real.
It's pretty real. Yeah.
Okay. So that's elimination. So the whole thing of and I'm not complaining, we're talking. And I think as a caregivers need to hear us talk. So that whole thing of bedwetting at night, because we had to find products that worked for my mother because she hated it. She's like, this was she told me. You know, my mama saved, sanctified, but my mama could say some stuff. And she said, like, I cannot believe I'm close to 70 years old and I'm peeing the bed. You know, and peeing in the bed. And so we had to go to some doctors we knew and some other people and found this product that really just helped so she don't have to get up during the night, because getting up during the night to use the potty by herself, which she shouldn't be doing, may cause her to fall.
Right.
So it's like, Mommy, if you could just stay in bed. And she said, I'm not going to stay in bed if it's wet. So we found some product to help keep her dry all night. Mm-hmm. And that changed everything.
Yep.
So that was opportunity.
That was opportunity.
Yeah.
Some key
Wait a minute. What's the but though?
I'm going to help you out with that. So
I want a sticker. I want a sticker like you do when you go to the dentist. I want a sticker.
I'm going to get us a whiteboard and I'll get you a sticker board.
Thank you.
That's what we're going to do.
Thank you.
So third thing is I just wanted to talk about real quick was with this opportunity for being creative, opportunity for building your team, opportunity to think about things different. As we go along this journey, one of the things I think that would be helpful, it's an opportunity for us, you and me, to think about how we're going to age differently. Because in the midst of this...
So you and I are going to age?
Every day, every second. I keep telling you, it's happening.
Alexis, May the 6th, 2022, I'll be 62 years old.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I know I look good for my age. I know I look good for my age. I know. And I'm not going to dare ask you your age because I don't know much, but I know you don't ask a young lady 53. Her age.
Totally 53.
Okay, so 53 and 62.
Mm-hmm. And tomorrow we're going to be a day older and we're going to have aged between today and tomorrow.
So let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm. So we need to think about how we're going to age. We have an opportunity. We're reminded every time we're in a caregiving role.
Wow.
As to how maybe as we go about this daily life on this planet, on this earth, in this community that we've created, how are we going to age? What are we going to do? And you know what I like to say is how can we age responsibly? So
is it me and you and all our
absolutely. Think of what would happen if we all aged responsibly and kind of thought about, yes, this is in fact going to happen. Yes, to your point, it's going to be complicated. Yes, it's going to be chaotic. Yes, it's going to probably cost us money because every day we live costs us money. Living costs money. So until we're not here, it's going to be complicated. Life doesn't stop when you reach 65. Sometimes it gets more complicated.
65? Why did you say 65?
Because I didn't know you were going to be 62. So what?
Okay.
So in my mind, I think it's something for us to think about. Like as we go about this, and you're thinking about your arrangement.
Right.
My guess is you drive long distance to go see your mom.
Right.
You've tried to think about how your car ride can be productive. You've thought about what can you do to enjoy that car ride. You've taken the opportunity. I know maybe you take pictures. That's something that I've seen that you do.
Yes, I love to do that.
You look at nature. Used to be maybe you drove straight there. You didn't stop and look around and go, oh, this is beautiful. You've tried to take the opportunity in your caregiving journey to make something positive out of that. So what I'm challenging you and I to do is to take the opportunity to think about how we can age differently, how we can responsibly age, and that we need to be responsible financially for that process till we're no longer here.
Okay, so we don't drop it on our children.
Or the neighbor, or the church, or the neighborhood, whatever it is, it's our responsibility.
To take care of us.
If we're going to take our vitamins, what are we going to do till the very end to take care of ourselves?
Gotcha.
So in my mind, it's not about my children are going to take care of me.
Right.
I had all these children, it's their job. They're going to take care of me. We kind of think different. We're not going to say things like, don't you ever put me in a home, because that's horrible to do to somebody. Because then that child has to deal with that responsibility forever.
So the horrific nature of a parent locking a child into a promise that the child is going to have to deal with for the rest of his or her life.
Yeah, that can be horrific.
Is that manipulation on the parents?
No, I think that's genuine feelings saying, I don't want to live like that. But I think we have an opportunity to change how we live. Okay. So if we don't want, I know very few people who wake up every day and go, oh, I can't wait. Today we go to the nursing home. Nobody talks like that.
Okay, so I like the way you talk about that.
If we don't want to go to the nursing home, then let's create a place for ourselves for the future that is something that we feel good about, we feel like if and when this is going to happen, I don't mind going there. It'll be okay. I know that I'll be cared for. I've had some say in what it looks like. I've had some say in what it feels like. I've had some say in how I'll pay for it.
So, Alexis, help us as we close out on the opportunity to the audience.
What I would share with caregivers out there is I think that the world that we live in, it's more expensive now than ever before for healthcare and for personal care. I would say people are living longer with really complex medical conditions that people used to pass away years ago with. And so you're being expected oftentimes to live responsibly and have a work life, a family life, maintain a home, and then also be a caregiver where you're expected to be a nurse, a dietitian, a social worker, a chauffeur. There's a lot that goes into caregiving now that I think that didn't occur years ago. Right. And it's something we'll have to deal with as a country. I think that we have access to great health care as a general rule, but that continues to enable people to live longer with multiple chronic medical conditions. And I think we just have to, as a family, have to decide what we can and cannot do. Yeah. And then try our best to kind of establish what we are capable of and try to learn to be at peace with that. I think it's easy to say, it's really hard to do. But if you have a lot of folks on your team helping you with that caregiving role, hopefully that burden will not be as great and maybe it'll be a little bit less.
Listen, to everyone, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us on Caregiving 101 with Alexis and Odell, the show that's concerned about caring for those who care for others. So we're concerned about you, but we're also concerned about me, and we're concerned about you.
Thank you.
Thanks
See you
for
next
joining
time.
us.